Stop Musk meddling with democracies. Hello, and welcome to my call to action on a topic that is actually deeply disturbing: the disassembly of our democracies and democratic values in the interest of a few power-hungry and autocratic megalomaniacs who cherish nothing more than advancing their personal interests at the expense of our entire civilization and its core values, including freedom. Elon Musk is a person I must admit I largely have ignored so far in my life. He was to me just another tycoon running a few what appear to be highly profitable companies, peddling what his customers apparently want, and sacking a lot of hard-working people at Twitter in the process when he bought it. That has tragically changed to a level of high concern for me since pretty much when another potentially highly autocratic character, Trump, won the US elections in November 2024 and appointed Musk to co-lead a new Department of Government Efficiency. This following a 180 degrees turn from supporting the Democrats by Musk to suddenly becoming Trump's best buddy. Why my concern? Since Trump's election win, Musk has increasingly been meddling with politics and democratically elected institutions outside of the US. An interesting fact, given he himself is not a US born citizen, instead originating from South Africa. He has on several occasions on his own X platform, formerly known as Twitter, announced his support for what are generally regarded as extreme right-wing parties in Europe and the UK. The German Verfassungsschutz, the Office for the Protection of the Constitution, for example, regularly have an eye on the AfD. Other parties include the French National Assembly, Reform UK, the Dutch PVV, the Hungarian Fidesz, and the Italian Brothers of Italy, most of which have either openly declared their or have been caught for their support to Putin, yet another very dangerous megalomaniac. Clearly of concern, I think you will agree. And a lucrative market, no doubt, for Musk, Russia that is. Go figure. From Musk's perspective, what all these European and UK parties most likely have in common is a desire for deregulation. Musk, who is probably struggling in competing fairly with other companies in the sectors he operates in, especially in the automotive sector, will need this to ensure the success of his enterprises and to advance his increasingly worrying visions to rescue mankind, or whatever egomaniac plans he wishes to advance that are, let me be straight, at odds with civilization without proper engagement through democratic channels and institutions, such as discussions and evaluations. Something Musk simply doesn't have time for, as he's too busy twittering around on X. What better way also to avoid legal investigations than to escape in a government position where your chief crony, also conveniently escaping litigation, yes, that'll be Trump, will help Musk by nominating new people in key positions that no longer form a threat to Musk's grandeurs, or should I say failures. Trump and his classified documents, sexual abuse, and possibly worst, his plotting the storming of the Capitol when he lost the previous elections cases, to name a few. It is a known fact that Musk has several investigations against him by the Securities and Exchange Commission, short SEC, for alleged security violations, the Environmental Protection Agency, short EPA, for alleged pollutant dumping by SpaceX, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, short NHTSA, for the appalling safety record of the so-called full self-driving and autopilot systems that Teslas have been equipped with. It is thus convenient to get your best crook buddy, Trump, to change key people in key positions within these organizations to gain a clearly unfair competitive advantage over those companies that do abide by the laws of the land. Musk appears to be attempting the same in Europe and the UK, supporting the extreme right-wing parties, which has over the last few weeks resulted in some high-profile news stories, one of which involved Die Welt, published by the German Axel Springer Verlag, also publishers of the utter gutter press rag Die Bild-Zeitung, in which its deranged boss Döpfner allowed Musk to publish a guest article promoting the AfD. This resulted in the opinions section's editor's resignation. Musk raged against renewable energy. So why buy a Tesla if not because you believe in saving the planet, which has to surely include renewables. Migration. Um, Sorry, so who's going to work in your factories then, Elon, with the aging population in Germany and perform those lovely menial tasks of building batteries and Teslas? And of course, regulation on puny things like safety. Musk argued that the AfD could not be fascist, given its co-leader, Alice Weidel, lives together with a woman from Sri Lanka in Switzerland. Indeed, Weidel's grandfather was a prominent Nazi judge directly appointed by Hitler, so definitely not fascist. Weidel herself, of course, has railed against immigration, herself having hired an illegal Syrian refugee to do her housework in her Swiss home. Will her anti-immigration stance result in her lover being sent back to Sri Lanka? It would be logical for an engineer like me. This all shows Musk's delusions in claiming parties like the AfD aren't as bad as everyone makes them out to be, as well as demonstrating his own double standards, all in the service of benefiting himself and his empire of companies. Recently, a row has erupted in the UK over mismanagement of paedophile cases in 2008 to 2012, when the UK's current Prime Minister Keir Starmer was the Director of Public Prosecutions. Musk claims that Starmer failed to prosecute what he calls grooming gangs and thus felt obliged to contact King Charles to dissolve Parliament to trigger new elections. The man is an absolute lunatic. This can only be interpreted as a massive smear campaign to not only divide opinions in the UK, just imagine how all the victims feel now, but mainly to divert attention away from the not so pristinely clean house that Musk himself operates from. Why else are the SEC, the EPA, and NHTSA after him? He had his balls kicked in Germany in 2020 by a Munich court, which ruled that the words autopilot and full self-driving used in adverts for the driver assist features in Teslas are misleading. Yes, I know that Tesla managed to undo some of the Germans' victory, but Tesla still had to amend their misleading adverts. Musk clearly hopes that new UK elections will lead to his buddy in crime Farage and his right-wing Reform UK party winning the elections will result in deregulating industry and aid Musk in selling his highly unsafe Teslas into the UK. Farage, of course, is squeaky clean, railing against migrants, having once married a German secretary. Maybe I've missed the fact that the UK have invaded Germany. More double standards by Musk and his cronies then too. Enough reason to be seriously concerned. If we in the civilized and democratic world are subjugated to the desires and wishes of autocratic megalomaniacs like Musk, who rely on autocratic regimes to make him rich, then dark times indeed lie ahead. Speaking of free speech, which Musk defines as the bedrock of democracy, what are the chances that we are dealing with double moral standards here, though, too? Autocratic regimes are not well known for free speech. See Russia, China, North Korea, Turkey, and sadly a much longer list of countries. I might as well add Musk at some point because I foresee a situation where he will not tolerate opinions other than his. Moreover, as a safety engineer, I'm seriously concerned about all of this, not just because of the devastating impact on our democratic values and freedom, but also from the perspective of the safety of all the trash that Musk's enterprises will be shoving down our necks once his autocratic bodies have deregulated everything. One of many examples already available now. In 2016, a Tesla Model S on autopilot hit the back of a road sweeper on a motorway in Hong Kong, killing the 23-year-old driver. His parents subsequently sued Tesla, who tried to remotely evaluate the black box recorder for details, conveniently discovering that said black box had been damaged in the accident, and thus arguing that as it cannot be proven that the autopilot had been engaged, it must be assumed the accident was caused by the driver. This and various other case studies are regularly used in university safety courses because they make for shocking reading, certainly in the context of the aforementioned misguided moral apostle Musk criticizing Starmer for his handling of grooming gangs. Unlike others, Musk is clearly allowed to commit offences, and if not, he will install friendly governments to allow him to do so. This is, by the way, the definition of a madman in my dictionary. As a safety engineer, it is also of concern that Musk keeps on insisting that the use of LiDAR for autonomous vehicles is a, and I quote, fool's errand. Mind you, he predicted that Tesla will have level 5 autonomous capabilities by 2020. Level 5 means the car can drive everywhere itself without any intervention by anybody inside the car, as defined by the Society of Automobile Engineers, or SAE, in Standard J3016. Every safety engineer knows that sensor fusion is absolutely essential to compensate for the strengths and weaknesses of different sensor technologies in all operational design domains, or ODDs, in other words, operating scenarios that the vehicle is expected to encounter. In summary, I have provided more than sufficient evidence that warrants some calls to action. First and foremost, Musk must be stopped meddling in politics. He must be prevented from influencing democratically elected governments. Therefore, my call: do not trust what he says on the political stage. There is a massive conflict of interest at play here, with him running several businesses and entering politics, and nobody has protested about it. Please protest about this in whatever way you see fit. I chose to create this video. Spread the word. Discuss the ramifications of non-actions. Stop buying any of his products. Stop investing in his companies. This goes for private as well as institutional investors. Musk's principles contravene most investment funds' environmental, social, and governance, or ESG for short, principles, especially where the social element is concerned with all his political meddling. We can hit him where it hurts, the financials, even though he has plenty of those. Consequences for us as consumers and free people? Yes, this means stop going into space with SpaceX. By the way, Starlink, the total surveillance system. Stop getting implants inserted into your brains by Neuralink. Do you really want Musk inside your brain? And stop buying Teslas if you love your life and the lives of the people around you. By the way, as a side note, battery electric vehicles are not quite as squeaky clean as we all had hoped for. Ask yourself where the lithium and other minerals required for the battery manufacture come from, and who owns the mines, and under what circumstances people work in those mines. Ask yourself about the damage to the environment caused by the mining process. The industry still has a lot of work to do, and this also needs tight regulation, something that of course Musk will be keen to remove, leaving whole landscapes scarred for decades, possibly longer. Free democracies, that's what we want and deserve, not autocratic systems serving a few megalomaniacs. Join me in the fight. We owe it to ourselves as a civilization. Thank you.